every winner focuses on their game.
Right.
And to a crazy degree.
Right.
And they're always saying, but I could have done better. Mm-hmm. I want to be better.
Right.
Dude, the reason why I want $100 million a year company is not because I did $100 million no company. I want it because I want what that represents. For me to make $100 million a year doing the business I'm doing, helping men, it means, you know how many men I have to affect to make $100 million a year by teaching?
Millions.
Right. And I go, I'm ready for that assignment.
All right, what's going on, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of The Bullpen. I know I say this a lot, I've got a real treat for you guys, but I mean this today because this is one of my real good friends. And this is someone who I met not too long ago. But the thing about this guy is it's really, really hard not to be happy around this dude. Mm-hmm. It's really hard not to get immediately, excited to see him. It's really hard to not want to be this guy's friend because that's the kind of value this guy provides to everyone's life that I've ever seen him in contact with. Everyone who I know who has met you, and it's been just a few months, right, brother? But everyone I know who's met you, even on my team, has said that dude's the shit, right? And that's why I'm so fucking excited to have you on the bullpen. Wow. Keith Yackey, welcome. Thanks for coming on, brother.
It's an honor and a pleasure, and I'll tell you, to hear that is actually my life goal is this. You know how great somebody is by how you feel when they walk away.
Ooh.
So my goal has been how do I make somebody feel amazing about themselves by having been around me?
Dude. Yeah.
That's it.
That is the secret sauce.
Yeah.
I mean, if there was one secret sauce out there, it would be, how do you make people feel?
Yeah.
Not like, okay, do you help them in their business? Do you do this?
Yeah.
Okay, that's one thing. No. When people are around you, how do you make them feel?
Yeah.
Do you make them feel better? Do you make them feel like they are excited about life? Or do you make them feel like shit?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, do you make them not want to be around you? Because there are people out there who we do business with just because they're making my business better. I don't really want to be around them.
Yeah.
Even though I kind of just suck it up, right?
Yeah.
But people like you make my life better, right? So
thank you, bro. And it's a big thing because here's the thing, and we can get to the bio whenever you want.
Oh, well, no, I just want to introduce you because people don't know.
Okay.
No, you're good. This is gold, man.
It's a lot of guys, especially we're around a lot of alpha. I mean, this is the alpha. This is the bullpen.
Yeah.
We're alpha. We're leaders. It's just what we are. We're winners. We're leaders. My favorite mantra that I say every day is, I'm a lover. I'm a leader. I'm a lighthouse. I'm a lover so that my wife always craves me. I'm a leader because, why wouldn't you want to be a leader?
Yeah.
That's just a bunch of horse shit for not being a leader.
Right.
And I'm a lighthouse. We get to shine. So the question I've always, there's these guys, they almost want you to know that they're better than you. But you don't walk away feeling better about yourself. So the real leader makes other people feel amazing. And I think the best story, whether you believe in Jesus or not believe in Jesus, there's one thing that's true. He died for what he believed.
Right.
But his closest apostles, every single one of them died for what they believed. So it's one thing to be a giant killer. It's another thing to raise giant killers.
Yes, amen.
And you can only make people, if you make people feel I want you to believe that you can become even better than you ever have been because we talked.
Yeah.
And ultimately, where does that raise my status in your life? Well, just like how you announced me. I feel better when I'm around this guy.
Yes.
This guy makes my life better.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm in here I'm so cool. I'm no, dude, you're fucking cool.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm cool, or else I wouldn't tell you I'm cool.
Right.
A guy who can compliment others is the one who's already complimented himself.
Yes. Oh, amen. Well, look, the opposite of someone who has the confidence to actually go out and compliment people, the opposite of that is the jealous motherfucker who wants to tear you down to lift himself up, right? And in my opinion, jealousy stems from lack of self-confidence.
Yeah.
Jealousy stems from someone has what you want and you don't believe you'll ever have it, so you want to tear them down.
Yeah.
That's where I believe all these haters I get, I believe they're hating on me because they want what I have.
Yeah.
But they don't think they'll ever be able to get it.
Yep.
They don't have the confidence to go out and get it, right?
So true.
That is where it stems from. But people who are happy for me,
Yeah.
people who are happy for my success,
Yeah.
aren't jealous.
Yeah.
They're confident in themselves enough to be like, dude, good for you, man.
Yeah.
Like, I'm doing my thing, but you're doing your thing. Good for you.
Yeah.
Right? And those are the people
true.
we want to surround ourselves with. That's the kind of guy you are, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because you're talking about love. You're talking about all this stuff. Here's what I really want people to know about you,
Okay.
right? Is you're changing dudes' lives,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're the founder and creator of marriedgame.com. You've obviously done a lot of things, big time entrepreneurship things in the past, but right now you're really hammering down on changing men's lives in marriedgame.com. You teach men how to get their wives to want to have sex with them again. After your wife left you and moving to a different state, you learn how to get her back and build a framework for others to do the same for themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is this about, right? Because I know I've talked about this before. I don't know a whole lot of people who take up the responsibility of the mantle to show men how to be men again in their marriage.
Yeah.
Now, okay, there's a lot of people who show men how to get in shape.
Yeah.
Right? And that'll probably help them have a lot more sex,
Yeah.
right? But that's just one phase.
Yeah.
You're showing men how to do it in all phases.
Yeah.
So what is this?
All right, dude. So my wife left me 5 years ago because I was addicted to the grind. I'm making money. I'm building this thing, and
Yeah, because you were doing crazy stuff with real estate and all that, right?
I mean, I've been able to produce for probably the last, I'd say, 14 years of my life.
Yeah.
I've been very high 6 or 7 figures,
Right.
and whether it's flipping hundreds of properties or buying rentals or teaching or whatever, I've known how to make money.
Right.
And I came home one day and my wife's like, dude, you run your business, you come home and talk about your business, and you fall asleep on the couch. Not what I signed up for, and you won't change because I've asked you to change and you won't do it. So when she left with my daughter, the best analogy I've ever heard is like, if we're in this room and all the lights are off, you don't know what's going on. And as soon as that light switch goes on, you go, oh shit.
Everything was
So it's
really-
almost as if a lot of guys are complaining about the dirty laundry on the floor, and then you flip the switch on and you're like, this is all your shit. And that's when I realized, oh my God, 95% of this issue is mine. Wow, what a tard I've been. B, there's hope because I can fix 95% of this.
Yeah.
And dude, I literally hired 3 coaches to figure out how do I get her back, because I was doing everything wrong.
Right.
I was like making PowerPoint presentations, singing her songs. And it was
PowerPoint
I swear to God, dude. Because what happens is when something's leaving, you're doing everything you can to get it back. But the problem is most guys, they don't understand attraction. Everybody wants what they cannot have. And so when you're like, no, I'm going to change this time. I'm going to change it. I want you. She's just like, oh God, that's pathetic. Oh, that's not attractive. So marriedgame.com is all about teaching men how to become the most attractive version of themselves. What does it mean to be the most attractive version of themselves? And where most guys and a lot of entrepreneurs, I know you have a younger following, but the bottom line is, you're on fire and people are watching. And it doesn't matter what age they are. I'm 42. I got some gray in my beard. I'm wise now, right?
Sure.
Even though I'm a total idiot on a lot of things, I figured this part out. And what I realized was I wasn't the most attractive version of myself. I had gained 45 pounds. I had stopped being this guy that was investing in my wife by time, attention, love, the smallest little things. I wasn't doing that anymore. I stopped dating her. And that massively dropped my attraction, her attraction for me, to where she literally did this. She basically left and in so many words said, my life would be better without you in it. And you got to understand, like at that point, I had already had sex with hundreds of women. I understood what attraction and seduction was. Like I understood game really well. And the one woman I wanted was like, you basically suck and I'm out of here. And when she moved, we had just moved into our dream home, and I'm sitting there with beautiful cars in the driveway, big house, big this, and I'm all alone, dude. I would spend like 6 or 8 hours at the gym just crying. I'd do the sauna. I would swim laps. I would do laps around the track. I'd go, I got to hit chest again. You just did it yesterday. It doesn't matter. Yeah. And I was so distraught. So I hired 3 coaches. How do I get her back? And they gave me good psychological points. They gave me good theory, but I never believed they actually went through what I went through.
What? Well, what made you think that?
Like, you just can tell.
Okay.
Like, I mean, you get
the vibe right off the bat.
Bro, I played football. Yeah. I played Pop Warner quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'm, 32.
Yeah.
If I want option right, option left. You know what I mean? Maybe I'll fall and throw the ball up and we'll catch a guy doing on the fly. That doesn't mean I can talk about hot routes or audibles at the line or anything like you could because you played high school and college football. So there's different levels.
Yes. Yeah, you haven't gone through the gauntlet of fire.
And I'm just like, I just didn't believe it. And so when I actually got her back, we weren't even having sex again for like the first 6 weeks.
When you got her back, you weren't.
Yeah, she was gone for about 5 months. Moved to a different town, moved in with another guy, started a whole new life.
Oh, wow.
Started a whole new life. And she's like, you're out. Wow. I've given you enough time. I've given you enough chances. And when you realize it, when somebody leaves you that's that important, you go, I came to the realization, how did she last as long as she did? Because once you realize like the egg's on your face, you're like, how come nobody told me this? No, they all tried to. Yeah. You were just too stupid enough to see it. I'm like, okay, cool. Got it. All right. Start working on the things that I need to work on. I start really, truly changing for me because what I learned from the coaches was this. If you want to get her back, you got to move on. And if you want to move on, you got to move on. Now, being a football player, I'm like, this is a 1-page playbook. We're running we only have one play. I'm like, I can do that. That actually gave me the singularity of focus to be like, I've got to move on. I've got to move on.
In order to get her back, you have to move on.
Yeah. Here's why. When you're a desperate, needy little bitch, you're not the most attractive version of yourself. But when you go, you know what? I fucked up. My bad. Okay. I lost her, but now I've become a great dad to my daughter, who was like 2.5 at the time.
Right.
And I'm like, okay, I'm going to become and I would tell her this because we still talk because obviously we have a kid. And I'd say, man, I'm really sorry because honestly, all the hard work you put in, some other girl is actually going to reap the benefit. Because I didn't think she would actually take me back. I had to get in the mindset, I'm moving on. Yeah. I'm not going to be desperate. She's with another dude. She's doing her thing. Yeah. So I'd become the most attractive version of me. And then when she saw that the change was real, and this is what happens in a marriage where women aren't that enthusiastic, they're not initiating sex, they're basically just giving out pity sex. They've got to see that a guy becomes the most attractive version of themselves, and they're asking, is this change permanent? Or did he read some book and he's going to go back? So literally my wife when she came back, she gave me a name, Trevor. Trevor is the old douchey Keith. And it helped me identify so that if she calls me Trevor, I'm in trouble, dude. That means I'm acting like a total asshole.
That's clever.
And if she goes, dude, you're acting like a total Trevor right now, I have to pause and be like, all right, dude. So there's Trevor.
Yeah.
Then I got her back 5 years ago. That guy's Keith, but we've moved into the new stage. The new stage is I'm Sancho. Sancho is Mexican side piece. So my wife literally treats me like I'm a side piece. Like she craves me. Like we have the best intimacy, whatever. So I went from the back of the pack, so unattracted to me that she bailed on me, to now, like we literally have a mantra within Married Game, and that is I'm the type of husband my wife cannot live without. And that's what I strive to be every day. And my wife literally is like, I'm the happiest. You make me the happiest human being alive. And when all our friends see us together, you've seen us together, it's like really clear we really dig each other. And so I had to learn the psychology. But 6 weeks into her coming back, her foot touches me in bed. And it sent like electric shocks. And I instantly started crying because I'm like, dude, you really got yourself into a real deep pit. Even though she was back, it wasn't like she was like, I'm back, we're cool. Right. She's like, I'm back. Have you really changed, motherfucker? Or are you still the same douchey Trevor that you were?
Yeah.
And right then, and this is going to sound crazy to anybody listening to this, but I don't care. It's what happened. I believe my Creator spoke to me. And he's like, I'm going to use you to affect millions of men's lives. And I genuinely at that point was like, I think you showed up at the wrong house. Have you seen how fucking deep in the pit I really am? And obviously that was just my communication with my Creator.
Right.
And I just started bawling. I'm like, dude, this is as low as I've ever gotten. Low as I've ever gotten. So it was from there that we started to having to build up there. And I still on my phone, right here, have this thing says, I've got you. Why? Because I think it's comical that our Creator, whoever you believe that is, for me, it's the one, whoever's making my heart beat and my breath breathe when I'm asleep.
Right.
I mean, dude, listen, we're waterproof and we recharge when we go to bed. What?
Right.
Like, who created that?
That's a really good way to put it.
That's cool, man. Like, I'm waterproof. I surf every day. Like, and I'm like, I gotta shake the water. No, I'm waterproof, bitch. Like, I'm waterproof. I close my eyes, give me 8 hours rest. I come back, I'm like, I'm all charged. That's amazing. So whoever's doing that, that's the one I'm talking to. And it's, I've got you. Who's going to take this playboy that slept with hundreds of women, couldn't even hang on to the one woman, tie it all back together, and then be the voice for modern day relationships? That's hilarious, dude. And so it's my assignment. And anytime I doubt it, I just go, oh yeah, no, he's got me. So that's what Married Game is about. It's teaching men the systematic step by step, because we can go through this, because there's a lot of guys that are trying the logical stuff. It doesn't work. Logical stuff meaning, I should try and do more chores around the house. I should make her happy. I should buy her gifts. I should agree with her. And the answer is those actions aren't wrong. It's the attitude that you do it with. Because it's transactional. It's like this. It's saying, I took out the trash. I did the dishes. Do I get my gold star? Oh, you mean like her kid? Yeah, not attractive.
Right.
You're just slipping what we call into the mom matrix. The mom matrix is now, because you ever hear guys like, oh yeah, I got 3 kids. Well, my wife's got 4.
Right.
That's not a compliment.
Right.
That means that you're acting like a kid that she has to clean up after. And I don't know of any moms that want to have sex with their kids. And if they do, that's pretty fucking weird. And that's Maury Povich shit, right?
Yeah, right.
So that's what happens. Like, what does it mean to become the most attractive version of you? Because the bottom line is, if your wife left you, would there be 100 women at the door wanting to be the next Mrs. You? If not, you're not the most attractive version of yourself. And if you're not the most attractive version of yourself, you're not allowed to complain about what she's not doing. Because look at you, fat ass, or look at you, lazy guy. Look at you. You're not investing. Why do you get to complain? So our job in 90 days is to get the man to believe and to actually achieve to becoming the most attractive version of himself. So then he can make a decision with power. Because most guys are making disempowered decisions because they're desperate. They don't know what to do.
Right.
No. Become the most powerful version of you. And I know I'm getting excited here.
I like this.
Are you okay with this?
Of
okay,
course. Go for it.
So
That's why you're here, dog.
So here's the thing.
I want to hear it.
So here's the thing. Guys go, why doesn't the logical stuff work? Here's why. You're not fighting a logical battle. You're fighting a psychological battle. Her brain is her most sexual organ. If you can't win the brain, you don't get the body. Period. And if you don't do what you say, she doesn't trust you. And one of our sayings is, when you get the trust up, you get the lust up. When she trusts you, she's going to lust after you. So these are things that we teach, because what happens, a lot of guys are in marriages and they're like, dude, my wife, like, she'll offer me some pity sex, but it feels like it's on a checklist or to-do list. Like, oh yeah, I should keep him happy. I want, here's what I've discovered. Men and women actually want the exact same thing. And most people don't understand this. What do women want? They want your presence. Can you put your phone down when you're talking to me, please? Can you actually act like you care about what we're doing? A lot of women would say that, right? And that's fair.
Right.
But what's the guy want? The guy also wants presence too. He wants his wife to be like, I want an orgasm too. I'm not just laying here and like, hey, when are you done? Because a lot of guys go through that. The woman will just be like, all right, I know we're supposed to have sex. You know, can we make this 4 minutes a little faster? It happens, dude. And guys listening to this who are in this type of marriage are like, I know what he's talking about. You're still young and you and your wife are still, banging like rock stars. But I'm telling you, a lot of guys, after they've been married for a while, it starts to fall off. And I don't believe that it has to. Last week, 10/25, I was in Dallas doing stand-up comedy. It was me, Ryan Stewman, and Garrett Gunderson. And some other really funny dude. His joke was, guys, I want you to know I'm cancer-free. And everybody clapped. He goes, I've never had it, but I just wanted you to know I'm cancer-free. And we all erupted, right? I'm like, that's a good joke. Well done, right? And so we get back to the hotel. We go party for a little bit afterwards, like, we did in Vegas. And we go back to the hotel, and we have the best sex. And when we were done, I looked at her, I'm like, you just took the top slot. Dude, I've dated porn stars. I've slept around. I've made, I was in Vegas, bro. I was banging a lot of really beautiful women. But the bottom line is, like, that was the best sex I've ever had in my entire life. And she said, yeah, me too. 3 days later, same thing. It was real close second, right? And I'm like, I want to say that in 5 years. In 5 years, I want to be like, that was the best sex I've ever had. Why would it change? It shouldn't, but it does, because guys get entitled. I protect, I provide, I produce.
Yeah.
Where's my sex? I'm like, well, Casanova, you haven't done shit to show her that she's that woman that you want to date again. So, of course it's going away. You haven't stoked the flame. You haven't put a log on that fire for 2 years. Any rate, I'm getting excited.
Yeah, you are. No, this is great.
But this is the crux of what Married Game is. It's all about how do you become the most attractive version of you, which means you care about everything.
Right.
And we can talk about, if you have any questions, ask, but I've got
plenty.
I've got four quadrants.
Go for it. Don't
Here's
worry.
the 4 quadrants.
Yeah.
Here's the dials.
Okay.
The parenting dial. Jesse basically said, you're a shit dad. I feel like a single parent. She wasn't wrong. So I learned to ratchet that dial way up. I got to be 10 out of 10 on my parenting, which, let me give you like a practical nuance. What this means is, let's say I get off work around 5. My office is at my house. So I try and knock off at 5. I say I'm going to get off at 5. If I need to work longer, I get up earlier.
Right.
But dude, my family deserves me. Like why wouldn't I want to be there for them? So I go, hey, let's go out to dinner at 5:15. What would I do? I would go putz around, do my thing, and at 5:14 in 30 seconds, I would show up to the car like, I'm ready. Bad move. Why don't you show up at 5:05 and say, how can I help you get Jovi ready with her shoes on, and put Jovi in the car, and actually show that I'm parenting too. Okay? Small nuance. This is the nuance piece that a lot of people don't get, but the nuance is really where it is. The next one, the next dial, the partnering dial. Jesse's like, I feel like I can't even talk to you about anything. Like I can only talk to my mom and brother about it. I feel like I'm not a priority at all to you. She goes, I'm like number 7. Like, well, that's kind of a horseshit thing. That's not good.
Yeah.
So when it comes to being a partner, I'm like, well, what does Jesse love? Jesse loves karaoke. We have a lot of parties at our house.
Yeah.
So
you guys did go to karaoke.
Yeah, we love karaoke. So what do? I bought our PA system, mic, everything. And you know who tries to rob it all the time? Garrett J. White.
Really?
Between them two, all they love is singing. Dude, they just rock the mic. But I'm like, you love this? I want to invest in you. I'm your partner. I'm your and it's almost like the best friend move.
Yeah.
Like, we're best friends. Okay, the next one is the producer, knob. Are you producing? Doesn't mean you have to be a millionaire, but it means you have drive and ambition to actually go do something. What Jesse knows for me is I was sleeping in. I was pounding Chipotle burritos like they were Tic Tacs. I was gaining weight. And so my producer, it's not that my money went down per se. It's just I wasn't driven by something that was like almost evangelistic.
Yeah,
because
right.
that's really attractive for a woman to see a man like on a mission.
Yeah.
And then the last one is the player knob, and this is where every guy forgets it. What's the player knob? It's taking your wife on a date. And guy goes, well, what does that mean to take my wife on a date? I'm like, well, if you're really asking that,
Then
I
that's
get
the
it.
problem, yeah.
But let's answer it.
Right.
Here's the standard. Hottest girl in high school finds you on Facebook. She's still hot as shit, but she's of legal age now. And she goes, I like what you did with your life. And let's imagine you're single, and she goes, I want you to take me on a date. What would you do? Would you go get your hair cut? Would you want to be fresh? Would you wear clothes that fit you? Would you shower? Would you shave your nutsack? Like, would you get all in? Would you plan a date that's actually fun?
Yeah.
Okay, that's how you should date your wife. Because that's how you dated her in the beginning when you were trying to get laid. Now you expect to get laid, but you're putting no investment at all. So you're like, dude, where's my return on my investment? Oh yeah, you didn't invest, idiot. That's why it's 0. And then so that equals, those 4 dials equal the provocateur. The man who can provoke his wife to lust after him. My wife lusts after me. It's a great feeling. And ultimate, guys, they want sex, but what do they really want? They want to be wanted. They want to be desired. They want to feel like they're the man. And the overarching theme is this. I'll give you the punchline, and then let's dive into questions or whatever you want to say, because you've got that.
This is good.
Because that's the formula. You do this every day, a provocateur every day a provocateur. That's our mantra. And it's this. I've come to realize that the guy who creates the most fun gets laid the most. And I'll quote the American poet Cyndi Lauper when she said, "Girls just want to have fun." Girls just want to have fun. So here's the equation. You ready? Boring equals boring.
Right.
If you're boring, your life will be boring. Fun equals fun. And it also equals a lot of sex and a lot of desire and a lot of attraction. And so it's like, what experience are you creating? What world are you creating for your wife? Is it boring as shit? Well, no wonder she's barely hanging on and actually is lusting after the guy on TV and not you. But if you're the guy that's creating fun, hey, I haven't always looked like an Abercrombie & Fitch model. Okay? I haven't always looked like this. But I've always been a tremendous amount of fun. But when she left me, my fun beam had just gone to almost a nothing. She's like, I'm not even having fun here. This guy barely takes me on dates. I have to ask him. So it just devolves, and it goes from one thing, entitlement to apathy to total loss of attraction. If you're listening to this, guys, and you're like, I feel entitled to sex. Where's my sex? Right. It leads you to apathy, like you don't have to work for it anymore. And once you stop working for it, that's when the attraction starts to erode away. They're like, who is this guy? Fuck this guy. I don't want to be around this guy. And then eventually, most women actually plan on leaving 2 years before they actually do. And that's a crazy statistic, isn't it?
What the hell?
It's true.
How do they even measure that?
Go interview a bunch of women.
Right.
And they go, dude, I've talked with so many women about this, and they're like, yeah, I was kind of making my exit plan about 2 years before. Because a lot of times, not everyone, but a lot of women oftentimes are financially tied to the man, especially after they have kids.
So they almost have to plan it out.
So they're like, and they have to get the courage to be like, you know what, I can actually make it on my own. And so the guy just becomes a paycheck at that point, and they're trying to make their exit. And then the guy feels like he's just a paycheck. And then it creates all this tension, and that's what happens.
Jeez. Wow. Okay. Listen, there's so much gold to unpack with everything you just said. Like I'm writing down these because these are things I want to make sure I'm diving into more. But God, dude, I love it. That's like a rampage of just gold right there.
Yeah.
But here's one thing, right? Let me just go back to this.
Okay.
Your wife leaves you, right? Most dudes would say fuck her.
Yep.
Most dudes say fuck her, right? I deserve better, and then they move on.
Yep.
And sometimes that probably is a good thing. It might be good. I don't know. Maybe not probably. It could be a good thing, could be a bad thing, right? But what made you, because obviously you knew you could have a lot of women, right? You lived that life before, right?
Yep.
What made you, because that takes a lot of humility for you to say, I want her back.
Yep.
I want to get her back, because it's almost like this thing, okay, so the wife leaves, or the girl leaves, right? And I almost think of this as not only in marriage, but just in relationships in general with women, right? Yeah. Dating, all that stuff, right? All the same, right? So she leaves because you're boring, because of all these reasons, she leaves, right? Yep. A lot of dudes could potentially just take that as an ego check of oh, fuck her, right?
Yep.
So why did you want to go, why did you even want to go back? Where did that drive come from to want to get her back?
Really simple. The light switch went on.
Right.
And I realized it was all my dirty laundry in the room. None of it was hers. I'm like, it's my fault. This is on me. But everyone that's great, what you're doing, what I'm doing, all of our friends that are killing it, they all eventually took personal responsibility for exactly where they were at. And it's like, okay, do you want to have an ego and be like, fuck her, I'll go find another one?
Right.
You can do that.
And probably could.
Right? 100%.
Right.
But you now just skipped growth. You now are the same dude bringing the same problem into whatever relationship. And that's why a lot of guys go through relationships and anybody's like, fuck that person, fuck that person, fuck that person. If you leave a trail of fuck those people long enough, it's really obvious to me. It's like, you're not doing the work.
It's you.
If it's always everybody else's problem, doesn't that make you a little suspicious?
Yeah, a little suspicious.
It's like, bro, wake up. So I woke up. I believe it was just God's grace that opened my eyes and said, Keith, are you gonna eventually face it? It's the same thing with my money. It's the same thing with my parenting. I had to finally admit I'm not where I want to be, and I'm tired of pretending I'm at where I'm not because I actually really want to get somewhere, and faking the funk is not getting me there, and I really want to be the real deal. But you've met me since I've become the real deal. That's why when you meet me, you go, this guy's 100% real and legit, because there's no artifice anymore. I've been to the bottom of the pit, and I realize the only way you get out is by jumping on the ladder of truth. You want to climb the ladder of truth? It's not going to be fucking easy. And you're going to have to admit, you know what? I was a douchebag. I was a Trevor. So it was, and also, when you have the realization, you got to remember too, like, this is my daughter's mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm going to see her. And I didn't have any more, I couldn't point to a reason why she was wrong. I was wrong. And so I'm like, well, shit. I literally pushed the greatest woman I've ever met out of my life. I did this. Well, I don't want to do that again. So I don't want, if I get another one, which I can get another one.
Sure.
But if I don't change, remember the old saying, wherever you go, there you are?
Yes. Right. Yeah.
That's what it is.
Well, I mean, tell the truth is what, like, basically, like, you're talking about, like, just fucking off all excuses, right? Yep. No more bullshit. No more, it's everyone else's problem. Just fucking get real about it.
Exactly.
Tell the fucking truth to yourself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there who probably are really honest with other people. But, I mean, we could, like, tell the truth to yourself. They're out of shape.
Yeah.
Relationships suck, right? Maybe their kids, really don't really look up to them as a parent, right? Yeah. Or their business is struggling. Or there's so many things. You could really be really nice to everyone else.
Yeah.
But not to yourself.
Yeah.
And honestly, if you're going to be nice to yourself, you have to first be truthful with yourself, right? Exactly. And because I know you're doing 75 hard right now. Yep. We just had this conversation, just dropping some gold, like you're talking about that, right?
Yeah.
And if people could just find the willpower to tell the fucking truth with themselves and get over the bullshit lies, your life will be a lot less miserable, right? Yeah. And you're experiencing that right now with 75 Hard. Shout out to Andy Frisilla and 75 Hard.
Greatest program ever.
So that's what I want to dive into that real quick, because I want to come back to this, but we're on top of tell the truth. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's what it is really all about, is it not? Exactly. You have to be able to tell the truth to yourself. Yeah. You need to stop fucking lying. Yeah. You need to stop creating all the excuses. My dad taught me at an early age, losers make excuses. And if you keep finding yourself losing over and over, it's probably because you're full of excuses.
Exactly.
Right? Winners get results. And you're getting some serious results right now doing 75 hard. But 75 hard, dude, it's just, what you described I'm doing that shit. Yeah. Because that's way more than just a fitness program.
It's not a fitness program.
So how has that been?
Okay, so I did it 2.5 years ago.
Right.
And with and I didn't want to do it at first because I'm a little bit of a contrarian. Most of us are like, we don't want to go with the flow. Oh, everybody's doing 75 hard? I'm not doing that.
You're not doing it, right.
And I'm like, and I said that at first. I'm like, I'm not doing that. I'm not just going to be on Andy's nuts and like, let's go do 75 hard. Fuck that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not on anybody's nuts. and it was like the voice came back to me and was like, all right, cool, and then stay the same. And I'm like, I can't fucking stay the same, dude. No way, man. I want what it takes to be mentally sharp. I want to be able to look at somebody and never be intimidated because I trust myself so much. And what 75 hard does is you flip the switch. So the very first time I did it, day 35 comes in, and I ask the question, I go, wow, I can't wait to move back because I grew up in Southern California surfing my whole life. It was like I was sponsored. I wanted to be pro. That was all I cared about.
You're basically a fish.
A fish, dude. A total fish. And I love it. And I was like, I can't wait to go back. And then your brain, because it will not allow excuses on 75, there's no modifications.
Right.
There's you either do the plan or you don't do the plan.
Right.
And when you do the plan, you build this trust in yourself that I can create any plan I want and I'll follow it to a T, which means I'll get the result. Yeah. So that's why you feel unstoppable. That's why I feel unstoppable. It's the feeling of empowerment that you can't fuck with me. And even if you did, you will have to kill me before I get off what I'm doing. And you're not going to kill me because you're not that powerful. Because you're not as powerful as me. Because I do what I fucking say. Now, that's literally, so the question came back, well, what are we waiting for? And I did this. I step back and I go, what am I waiting for? Talking to the mic, Keith. What am I waiting for? I go, I'm not waiting for nothing. And my business is all online, and any real estate is, I'm not out collecting the rents anyway. Right. I go, hey, Jesse, you want to move to Southern California? Now, her whole family lives out here. So she would travel out here all the time. Yeah. And I say here, even though we're in Utah, but she would travel out to California from Las Vegas, where we're living. And she goes, are you serious? I go, I'm 100% serious. You want to find us a place? We'll move in the next 30 days. She goes, are you dead serious? I go, I'm 100%. This is my decision. We're moving. You wanted to go? She goes, absolutely. I go, cool. Well, then we're doing it. Wow. That was how long it took me to make that decision. Why? Because my brain had been so sharp about, I said I'm going to do this. I will do that. And that's it. When you make a decision, you follow it out. And so I moved there. I meet a guy who becomes my best friend. My whole entire life changes.
You're talking about Garrett.
Garrett J. White.
What a stud.
The best. Yeah. He's such a, a lot of people don't know how funny he really is. And that's what we bonded on.
Yeah, because everything he puts out is real, like,
it's intense.
Singe your eyebrows.
Yeah.
Which I love it.
Well, and I do too. Right, But then you see the funny side. And because I had met him, Pete Vargas and I do a yacht party every year. And he came down, this was about 2.5, almost 3 years ago. And we just laughed the whole time. And I was like, did you just become my best friend? Like, that's what it felt like, right? Because we were laughing about all the same shit. Yeah. And I was like, God, I like that guy. So when I moved out to Southern California, we ended up doing this. But I noticed we ended up meeting each other and surfing. And I'm a pretty advanced surfer. And so immediately he's like, oh, this guy isn't just doing this to meet me. This guy actually loves this shit. Right. And so we developed our friendship there, and it just kind of continued to grow. But late part of September, early part of October this year, I noticed my brain starting to get a little bit fuzzy, and actually my confidence was starting to drop. But making great money, all the intangibles were like, everything should be fine, but why don't I feel very confident? Why am I not feeling massively fulfilled? I'm doing my calling now. I'm teaching guys married game. And the statement came to me, if you take off the C and you take off the G of the word calling, all you have left is all in. And the answer was, you're not all in. You don't know what it's like to be all in, Keith. And I was like, you're damn right I don't. And that's fucking changing tomorrow. And so I knew what happened to my brain when I did 75 hard. And now the second time, the results of empowerment are like 3 or 4x of what they were the first time. Because now I'm not wondering, can I do this? Now I'm saying, how hard can I make it? And the feeling of accomplishment and empowerment is so powerful. And I teach it to my guys. I go, you guys all need to go do 75 hard. But they're like, it's hard. I go, that's right. And you're a fucking pussy.
It's kind of the idea.
Yeah. And I've been traveling a lot this last 35 days. Right. Like Vegas, Dallas. And I go, okay, well, that means I got to get up at 3:45. I got to get up at 4:15. I got to arrange everything so that this is done. Yeah. And so it makes you then become super present about what am I actually doing? And when you start to look at the dials in the cockpit, you start to know how to, okay, I need to gain altitude. All right, well, here's what we do. I recommend it for everybody, but when I say I'm on day 30, I jokingly say I'm on day 30 of 5,000 because I'm never quitting. And I don't even know what day I'm on because I'm not checking off every day. I just know what I have to get done. And I do have checkoffs for what I do every day.
Right.
But I'm not talking about on social media because this one is for me now. That first one was, I'm in the club. I did 75 hard.
Right.
I did it. Now it's like, how hard can you push yourself, Keith? What? And I'm like, oh, I can do this.
Yeah.
And so it's given me this confidence that only comes from trusting myself. And I think everybody should do it. Bro, I'm telling you, when you do it, you're already on your game. But it's like, and I was already on my game. But you have a statement. It's very similar to mine. What is yours? Become great or?
Be great or be nothing.
Be great or be nothing. My mantra is become my best or nothing at all. Remember when we talked about that when we first met?
I forgot about that. Yep.
Become my best.
When I heard you say that, I was like, this. I gotta go talk to this dude.
Yeah, it's
right
like
now.
we're brothers. Like it was instant. Like like somebody cut us out of the same cloth and just shipped us down here on different delivery dates.
Yeah, pretty much.
But that's what happened, right? And when you said that, become great or be nothing.
Be great or be nothing.
Be great or be nothing.
Yours is the become.
Yeah. So mine's become my best or nothing at all.
Right.
Because what I learned early on was there's one thing is to know, another thing is to do, and another thing is to become. And so a lot of guys know about how to date their wife and become better with their wife. Some guys are doing it. Very few have become the most attractive version of themselves. You can do attractive things.
Yeah.
It's different than becoming.
Being that person.
You are that person.
That's who you are.
I'm the dude that gets laid so much. I don't know. My ball sack's drained, bro. I got nothing less. I'm sorry, lovey. You know what I mean? You want me because I've become.
Yeah.
So that's our life motto. And I realized I wasn't living up to that. And so I'm like, well, what can get you there? What was the last time you got there? It was 75 hard.
Dude, when you talk about what you were talking about before and like talk about now, like that shit gets me pumped, dude.
Yeah, bro.
Like because I've been like playing around with the idea.
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe I should do that, I'm like, but it's the exact same thing, like, like I don't really want to do that, like I want to do my own, carve my own way kind of thing.
Yep.
But I'm sitting here listening, I'm like, who the fuck you, man?
Yeah.
Like go fucking do that shit,
And it's the exact opposite of what you teach. Because what you teach is why carve your new way when you can just follow the path.
Yep.
And I've done 75 hard, and dude, we all have mad respect for what Andy has created.
Yeah.
We're like, that's mad respect.
Yeah.
But dude, if that's how you got it. I know 75 hard is newer compared to some of his success.
Yeah.
But it's like, all right, I'm doing that.
Yeah.
And guess what? I have a shit ton of travel, and we're coming up on holiday season. Halloween, my birthday, Thanksgiving, another one of my buddies' really good birthday, and Christmas is coming up.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, those things don't really even matter. Like when it really boils down to it, I can still be at Thanksgiving.
Yes. Still having fun.
Why do I have to have 7 handfuls of fucking sweet yams?
Right.
I don't.
Right.
I don't need a Snickers at Halloween because guess what? I can watch my daughter eat it and she can have so what I realize is none of this shit matters. I'm creating a world. I get to decide. And so this was one of my things from my gummy tent was this. Nothing matters unless you make it. Nothing fucking matters unless I make it matter. And I finally made my life matter to me. And that's why I'm taking it in my own hands. And that's why I'm doing whatever I think. I want to be so optimized, not because I want anybody like, oh, Keith's in the optimization game. I don't give a fuck what you think about it. I know one day I'm going to stand in front of my creator. I want him to say, well done, good and faithful servant. Not well done, funny guy. Not well done. Good and faithful means I did my fucking best and I was faithful to the plan that was put in front of me. That's all that matters. And now it matters because it matters to me. But when you look at all the greats, they did it from the inward fire, never for the outward fame. They did it from the inward fire, and that has finally taken hold in my heart. Well, that's what it did.
There's something that I was taught not a while ago, but something that I've really been taught over and over again, and it's the power of the word. But more so in speaking of God, right? Because when God speaks, it happens.
Yeah.
Right? And the word of God is law. It is literally the law of the universe. When God speaks, it happens, right?
Yeah.
When God speaks, oceans part, water turns into wine. It doesn't fucking matter what happens, right? When God speaks, there is light. And that's what they say. They talk about this in scripture where, the word of the Lord, right? There was God, and God spoke, and it was there, right? Yeah. And people, this was something that was so incredible when they said, God is not God without his word. What makes God who God is the integrity of God. God, his word is more powerful than any law. His word is so undeniable that it literally moves the universe. And I believe that as children of God, as literally like the soul that's inside of you, that engine that does not turn off, that's pumping your heart a million beats a day without you even thinking about it, that engine is the same engine, that soul that came from the Lord, right? That is this exact same thing that's inside of us. And we have that same kind of power. When we speak and manifest, a lot of people are diving into this, especially since I feel like it's way bigger now than ever you really used to be in society, where they talk about manifesting, right? But really how your word has impact on this world. What you speak, your actual like the actual words you put out, I am, have a huge impact on actually who you become, right?
Amen.
What you believe and what you speak will actually become. And at the end of the day, that's why God is who he is. And I believe when you become more aligned with God and with your highest and greatest self, who you can become, it's because you have developed the power of integrity, the power of the word, the power of really just everything we talk about, like faith, talking about love, talking about all these things, it all stems from your word and what you speak and what you deliver, and your you could talk about confidence, you're talking about belief. It all stems from your word, right? And God is not God without his word, and we cannot become who we can without our word, right? And that's why one of the things I talk about more than anything is confidence. I say the two C's of success are supreme confidence and unshakable courage, right? But what in regards to what we're talking about here, what you're saying with 75 Hard, and honestly with marriage, with fitness, everything you talk about, when people learn from Keith Yackey, right? Yackey, right? Is they learn to tell the fucking truth, right? Because confidence, at the end of the day, stems from your word to yourself. You cannot have confidence unless you keep your own word, unless you speak and it is done. But you know what's so important is that not only when you speak it gets done, it means you have the discipline to not speak, to not commit unless you are willing, meaning the power of saying no. Right? If I say no, I mean it. If I do not do something, it's because I will not do it. I do not want to do it. I believe the power in saying no is more important than the power of saying yes, because it makes the yes even more important. And you're talking about the no to sugar, no to this, no to that, no to the excuses, no, and the ability to say no and to just lay that line, make things black and white, draw the line in the sand and say, this is where I stand, because anything less than that I will not settle for. No is over here. And in all reality, there's a lot more no's to be said in your life than yeses.
100%.
Right? You can stand up for something, but that's just one thing. And your whole life could be built off that one thing you stand for, the one thing you will want to be remembered by. And there are things you say yes to, but at the end of the day, there's so much you're going to have to make sure you say no to, right? And hell, we're talking, marriage, we're talking relationships, no to a lot of things, right?
Absolutely.
So, dude, I'm like listening, I'm like, I love this shit, because so this, good, man. Dude, I know you talk about marriage, but this is entrepreneurship.
It's everything.
This is life, man. This is fitness. This I talk about mind, money, muscle. It's every aspect of your life revolves around these things. It's just success in general and who you become. Right? And dude, I'm just getting fired up. I love this, man.
I want to put a tail on that, because that was really beautiful, dude. People talk about speaking the life they want into existence.
Yes.
If your voice isn't very powerful, you can't speak a very powerful existence into being.
Amen.
So someone's like, oh, I really want this and that. It's like, Oh, you want it? That's cute, man. That's super cute.
Right.
You're whispering. No wonder you have a whisper life. But when I say I want something, I don't even have to say it.
You go
My
get it.
My life already shows it. When I say I'm going to drop this weight, and when I say I'm going to do this, my word, the more you do what you say in the time frame you say you do it, the voice becomes more powerful. Your word becomes more powerful. Therefore, you become more powerful. It means you're a more powerful creator. That's why our creator's voice, when he speaks and the whole thing comes about, it's total power.
He speaks, everything obeys because his word is more powerful than any. He literally creates laws in this universe because of his word.
So people who are trying to manifest, it's like they're whispering to the world, I want this, I want that, I want that. And the universe is saying, but you're not doing anything for it, Riri.
Yes.
Come on.
Right. Dude.
That's powerful.
It is. I mean.
I'm glad you went off on that. It was
good.
They're
like, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's no better feeling than saying I want something and I'm going to go fucking get it. Right? That award right there, I started crying my eyes out when I got it because I said, I want it.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of crazy shit to get it.
Yeah.
A lot of things, a lot of people told me I was stupid
to
do that, to get it. But I said I fucking wanted it, right? That Lamborghini, the reason why I get in that Lamborghini every day and I literally feel happiness because of a machine.
Yeah.
So this random ass machine that's created, there's a lot of cool machines out there.
Yeah.
I get in this machine and this one makes me happy. It actually has almost this, like, you can almost touch it, the feeling of driving that car.
Yeah.
And it's more than the car. Yeah. I know there's Ferraris. I know there's cool cars out there. But it's that car because I said as a child, and I've said my entire life, I want it.
Yeah.
And I made it happen. When you want something and you make it happen, that is the most fulfilling and honestly confidence building thing you'll ever do.
Yeah.
When I sit in that Lambo, I say, I fucking did it.
Yeah.
Right? When I'm telling you about that football right there, that was one of I say it's one of the greatest moments of my life because I literally, out of rage, spoke that to myself, but to my coach, to the whole stands. I say, I'm going to fucking win.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to watch me do it.
Yeah.
And then we won. And I literally always remember that moment saying, I did it.
Yeah.
I made it happen. I spoke it. I made it happen. It's almost like hard to express that feeling of like I did it, you know? Like this watch has something in it. Once I made my first $1 million, I told myself I'll buy a Rolex. And so I got that engraved on the underside, Spiritus Invictus, right? Unconquerable soul.
Yeah,
right?
That's the one.
And to me, I put on this watch because I'm like, I did it.
Yeah.
It's a lot of reminders around me saying, you can do this, right? And I think Ed Milet talks about this. Ed, I love that man with all my heart.
Yeah.
He says, if you want to build confidence, if you want to be successful, establish one thing in your life that is non-negotiable.
Yeah.
You will not negotiate with yourself. You'll not negotiate with anybody else. And not even one thing, there have to be certain things in your life that you will not negotiate. It is non-negotiable. This is my fucking life. This is who I am.
Yeah.
And if you stick to those non-negotiables, you will more and more grow into a man or woman of integrity, confidence, success, all the things that everyone wishes to have, that you're seeing, that I'm seeing, that people can see when they come learn that from you. That's what they can have.
Exactly right.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
and every day you can experience. That's why I think 75 Hard is the gateway drug into that, because you're saying I've got to do these 6 things every day or I don't go to sleep.
Amen. Yes, non-negotiable.
These are all non-negotiable.
Yes.
Period. And so when you start to learn to live a non-negotiable life, you become unstoppable and your word becomes more powerful. Therefore, you're now a more powerful creator, which is why we create the lives we have. And they go, how did you create that? I do what I say when I say I'm going to do it. And you don't. And people go, teach me negotiation. You're fine at negotiating. You're great at negotiating. You're just never willing to negotiate for your better self. You always negotiate for what does it mean to how can I stay being a bitch and nobody figure it out.
Yeah.
But real men like you and I who do what we say we can do, I can see through it. I have x-ray vision on it. You want to speak some bullshit? Smells like bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm on the road. And that's why like
bullshit smells like bullshit.
Yeah, that bullshit smells like bullshit, dude.
I do have bullshit.
You're like, you're like, wait a second. Keith's really bright. Boring equals boring. Fun equals fun, and bullshit smells like bullshit.
These are good.
It's true though.
Write them down.
Yeah.
Everyone write those down.
These are
boring equals boring. Fun equals fun, and bullshit equals bullshit.
Equal bullshit, dude. But this is why you and I get off on this stuff so much. And you know what's exciting? Maybe not these listeners, but 95% of the world hearing us talk like this, they go, "Those guys are psycho."
Yes.
And we're like, "Yep, we are."
Absolutely.
To you, and I can't take the time to explain it to you because if you don't get it, you don't get it.
If you're not willing to,
but there's people listening on here that are. I know for a fact there's people listening right here that are going, those two dudes do what they say, and they literally, like, I have the cars and the house and the life that everybody wants. I know it. Yep. I know that when I walk into a room, you don't shine this bright without knowing that you're shining this bright.
Right.
I know I shine this bright. We were talking about it earlier. I love myself, Jeremiah, because I fucking do what I say.
Yeah.
I haven't always done this. Let's dispel this myth. I haven't always been this guy. That's why we just said, my wife left me 5 years ago and said, "See you later, creep. I'm out of here."
Right.
Now I do what I say I'm going to do when I say I'm going to do it. And that's the one thing, man. It's the one thing.
Dude.
All right.
You said love yourself, right?
Yeah.
There cannot be a single person on this planet who loves you more than you.
Shouldn't be.
They can love you as much as you, but no one can love you more than you.
Yep.
Because if you love you more than anyone else in this world, guess what? You now have the capacity to love others. You know have the capacity to understand at the deepest level what true love is. Yeah. Same with self-belief. I say again, no one can believe in you more than you, but no one can love you more than you.
Yeah.
You have to look at yourself and go, I'm a badass motherfucker.
Yep. And
someone would look at that, like we're saying, anyone watching this would think, what an egotistical piece of shit.
Yeah.
But you know what I'd say? I'd be like, no, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
You're kind of supposed to love who you are.
If you don't, why would anybody else?
Why would you want to continue to live if you don't even love the skin bag that you walk in?
Yeah, man.
Right? If you don't even love who you are as a individual, as a human being, as a fucking man, then what good is your life?
Yeah.
It's not very useful.
And that's why they don't like their lives.
Right.
And they don't do what they say.
Yes. Amen.
It just makes the circle really small.
Right.
And really beautiful. Honestly, it does.
Yes. And dude, small circles are, usually high performing circles are small circles.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, and a lot of people know me.
Right.
But like I spend the majority of my time with people that inspire me.
Yeah.
That make me want to become, I was hanging out with Sean Whalen today and we lifted and I went to see his thing and got some cool merch and whatever. And I was just like, he inspires me to be a better leader of myself. And I'm like, well, isn't that the kind of friends you want? And I have I tell Sean, I go, I'm loving the show you're putting on this earth. I'm watching, I'm front row, and I'm loving it. I don't have any issues. I don't feel less than.
Right.
Why wouldn't I want my friend's show to be the best show on the... When I look at Garrett's life, I look at your life, when I look at Sean's, when I look at Jeremy's, when I look at my friend's life, I just go, fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, man. I'm the biggest cheerleader, dude.
Right.
And so we have a statement because me and Garrett aren't the best surfers out there. And so we came up with a mantra that says, if you can't be the leader, be the cheerleader. And then we made an addendum that says, the best leaders are the biggest cheerleaders. Because it's like, when I love me, and now I want you to love you, and I want to teach you how to do the same. And I'm going to cheerlead you and be like, I kind of am in this mode where I don't want to be the annoying correct people guy. Yeah. But like, you know how, like, I ran into recently a friend I hadn't seen for 8 years, and she kept saying things. I'm like, do you really believe that? She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, you said this. She goes, I said that? I go, yeah, that's some bullshit thinking. And that's why you are where you're at. Or she goes, I went through this situation, this guy was this, and oh, he's horrible. I go, I bet you he's horrible. But where were you at in your life that you were okay with that and you accepted it and you actually married him? Have you stopped to consider who you were? How needy were you? How insecure were you? How low were you in your life that you would accept that piece of shit in your life? I know you're calling him a piece of shit, and maybe he is, but you embraced him, and it didn't smell that bad at the beginning. So were you a piece of shit too? And if you were, maybe let's not talk bad about him and let's start to focus on you. Every winner focuses on their game,
Right.
and to a crazy degree,
Right.
and they're always saying, "But I could have done better. I want to be better."
Right.
Dude, the reason why I want $100 million a year company is not because I did $100 million meal company. I want it because I want what that represents. For me to make $100 million a year doing the business I'm doing, helping men, it means, you know how many men I have to affect to make $100 million a year by teaching?
Millions.
Millions. Right. And I go, I'm ready for that assignment.
Yeah.
And God is building me, and my Creator is I believe that we were all created to create. That we were made in His image. He's a creator. Let's create.
Right.
So, and I love it. All right. Any other questions? What other questions? This is so good.
Let me ask you some one thing. It's kind of pivot, but like what I really want to ask you here, right? Because you're talking about your friend group, right?
Yep.
But in reality, you attract who you are.
Yep.
Though, honestly, Garrett, Sean, Jeremy Finley, shout out to all these guys. All these guys, they wouldn't want to be friends with you if they didn't recognize a lot in you that's in them, right?
Yep.
You kind of attract who you are in this life, right?
Yeah.
But back to kind of like relationships and women and attracting women, right? Something you said is don't chase.
Yeah.
Right? I talk about this in marketing. I really mostly sales, but like if they for once ever think you're desperate in sales on the phone call when you're talking to them or in marketing, they think you're lower. Yeah. They think they're in control and they get turned off. Yeah. They think it's probably not worth that much. Yeah. Right? And that's sales and marketing. But now you're saying this for relationships, and I'm sitting here thinking like, well, if you're a needy bastard, if you're busy chasing, right, and you don't know how to attract and be chased, well, then guess what they're going to think? They're going to think you're not worth that much. Yeah. They're going to think probably not, worth it, right? Yeah. The exact same things, right? Yeah,
exactly.
So what I really want to know right here is, what's the key to attraction? What's the key to making sure you're never in a mode of chasing? And we're talking maybe relationships, because like with friend group or networking or business or your marriage or whatever it is, how do you make sure you're not chasing? You're not the needy bitch, right? Yep. You're attracting. What does that look like? You're being chased.
Okay, so I think two concepts. Number one, need nothing. And number two, go somewhere that's awesome, or be going somewhere that's awesome. Nobody wants to jump on the train to nowhere. Nobody says...
No one wants to jump on the train to nowhere. Amen to that.
Right? And nobody's like, hey, discover me. No, you got to discover yourself first. And then be going somewhere where people go, I like where he's going. Yeah, I want to hop on that train. And when I say need nothing, it's simply... People, when they hear need nothing, they think that you're not allowed to want something. No, I want something. I want my wife to want me. I want to continue to build my business to where I'm filthy. No, I don't even like saying filthy fucking rich, because riches aren't filthy. Sure. I'm massively abundant in every area. What's attractive, remember what the word attraction means. It means to draw people in. Right. As opposed to repel them away. So what are the things? We have a list, specifically within marriage, but also everything. We go, I always say this, we have 13 things that are the elements of attraction. And I have every guy who comes in, when they look at it, like, so one of them is muscles. One of them is make a decision. Right. One of them is be a man among mortals. One of them is manscape. One of them is, so we go through like what makes a guy. And so I have them envision a picture of what that means. So when I say muscles, you might think Arnold Schwarzenegger. Some guy might think Matt McConaughey. Right. Two entirely different musculature bodies. Right? But both are getting more ass than a toilet seat. Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, which one of those do you want? Right. I go, okay, I want I want the Matthew McConaughey body. That, to me, that's the muscles I want. I go, awesome. What's your plan to get there? So it helps them crystallize and clarify, what do you want? All right, what plan are you going to do to get there? Oh, you want to be McConaughey, like when he's in, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, you know what I mean? Or Failure to Launch, not Dallas Buyers Club.
Right. No.
Not sick AIDS dude. I'm talking. Yeah. But so it's like, all right, what do you want? Okay, when it comes to make a decision, what is your idealized guy that makes decisions? Cool. Figure out how to be guided. So what happens is you become a supremely valuable man that people want to be around. You are building something. You need nothing. So all my friends know I don't need them. I'll be happy as a lark. Just give me some gummies and I'll go hang out by myself, and I'm really good company. But it doesn't mean I don't want them to be with me. I love being with my friends. I actually look at my relationships as my greatest assets, and I treat them as much. I want to say something about relationships real fast. That was a really big aha for me.
Well, you're probably the relationship king, if I were to name one, right?
I am.
Yeah.
And I own that because I know I'm really damn good at it.
Right.
And I've worked hard to think about why it makes sense.
Right.
So number one, I make my relationships a priority. So I'll fly up. You flew down to Vegas to go, hey, I want to see my guy do comedy.
It was fun.
Yeah,
we had a great time.
And we created a memory and a moment and an experience together that we'll always laugh about.
Right.
Number one, make it a priority. Number two, put a price on it. And this is the one where people are going, I go, me and Garrett, my program is within Warrior because he loves it. And he's seen me build this thing. And he was such a huge cheerleader for me. And he looks at himself as a wingman to help Married Game become all that it can be. And I tell my friends, I go, and I'll tell you this, you and I are going to be friends till we're 88.
Right.
And we're not going to let money ever get in the way of that because there's too much money, too much abundance. But that happens to a lot of people.
Yeah.
Relationships, friendship. Don't do business with family. Well, if they're pieces of shit, don't. Or if you're a piece of shit, don't.
Right.
So we were surfing, and I said, Garrett, we were trying to figure out, what's the best way for us to promote each other, but not let money be a thing. And we were coming up with some creative ways. And I said, I want you to understand something, man. If somebody offered me a check for $300 million to not be your friend, I want you to know it wouldn't take me any time at all to say absolutely fucking not. What I did, I put a price. And I go, if you value this man more than $300 million, then that means what? It means you'll pick up his call if he calls you. It means that you'll think about his birthday and do something cool. It means, how would you treat something that's worth $300 million? So that's when I say put a price on something.
Wow, that's interesting.
It shows you're actually placing value on somebody. My friends are worth more to me than hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars. So I go, well, then that's how I'm going to show up. And a lot of people call me their best friend.
Like a $300 million asset that you got to protect, that you got to make sure, is taken care of.
And because really what my friendships and my relationships bring me more than anything is joy. And I think you can't put a price on joy.
No, right.
Because that's what we're all in the pursuit of happiness. And joy is just an elevated version of happiness. And so I put a price on it. And here's the other thing I think is really true is, I'm proactive in the thing, like what would make this person just be stoked? And then I go, there's the golden rule, do unto others as you want done unto you. I've created the platinum rule, which is do unto others as they want done unto themselves. So, for example, I go, hey, I want to do unto my wife as I want done unto me. Well, dude, I just want blowjobs. She doesn't want blowjobs. You know what I mean? So I go, I want to do unto my wife as she wants done unto her. What does that mean? She wants me to play with Jovi for 3 hours so she can go take a nap and be like, wow, I've got a break from my daughter. And my daughter's in great hands. She's being coached up and full and loved on by the greatest human ever, my husband, Keith. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like when you put a price tag on something, it says that, hey, that's valuable. And my relationships are valuable because they bring me joy and I bring them joy. And so, a lot of people are like, well, how do I find good relationships? How do I bring value to people? It's like, dude, you in your most authentic, unique, elevated state of your authenticity and uniqueness is really fucking valuable. Because what happens is most likely you're bringing perspective to situations that most people don't understand. The reason why Married Game is so valuable and why I'm making such a good amount of money doing it and why I'm just barely scratching the surface is because I'm offering a perspective to men that they can't hear. I actually talk the exact same way that wives talk to their husbands. So a lot of wives that I met through the Married Game, they're like, I'll talk. I just had lunch with one of them today. I literally had lunch with the husband and wife. He came into the program a week and a half ago. And I said, I'm actually going to be in Salt Lake. I've never done this before, but you want to do our welcome call over lunch instead of over Zoom? They're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, cool. So we went and had lunch, and everything I'm telling this guy, she's like, I've been telling you the same thing. Not like, I've been telling you the same thing, idiot. But she's like, and I said, listen, guys can just hear it from me. Because A, they look at my life and go, well, dude, the guy's living everything he says. B, he has everything that I want, and including joy, happiness, fulfillment. And I go, I've literally just, and people ask me, where did you learn all this stuff? I go, from my wife. And all of my modules, I go, guess how I learned this one, guys? Here's where I fucked up here, here, here. And here's where Jesse taught me not to be a douchebag, not to be an idiot, and to show me how to actually love her the way she wants to be loved. And so what happens is I'm now the voice to these guys saying what their women have been trying to say forever, but it's coming from this frame. And they go, that makes sense. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? That's not being a pussy. Because a lot of guys are like, my women, like, I've had guys say that their friends go, don't listen to her, dude, don't want her boss you around. And I go, yeah, dude, you're such a knuckle dragger. Your wife is giving you, so the very last point on our elements of attraction, the M13 list, is make notes. Meaning, what has she already told you she wants to do? You know how I know to be attractive to Jesse? Love my daughter more than anything, because for women, their DNA is biologically built into them to love and raise the children, and that becomes the number one priority. And I go, guys, women divorce men. They don't divorce children. So you better fucking get on the program, because if you're not treating those kids as an amazing parent, she's losing attraction for you and saying, what's up, deadbeat? Wow. So make notes, meaning get really clear on what the hell is. And then the last P for relationships. So you got the priority, you've got the price tag, and then the other one is plan. Plan to create an environment where you guys can all have a good time. Because really, Cyndi Lauper said girls just want to have fun. I think we all just want to have fun.
I think we all do.
We all want to just have fun, man. Like we just want to have a kick-ass time. So that's how you become the most attractive version of you. And that's how. That's the technical steps. And just be a good hang.
Dang, brother.
Be a good hang, right?
Yes. And that is something you've mastered.
And it's just, and you're not needy.
Right.
You're like, hey, and you know, it's fun.
You know, it's funny
Go ahead.
You say that. No, I don't want to interrupt you. Keep
no,
going on
you keep going.
But it's, I don't know, like I had this thought at one point. It's almost like girls like guys who almost have this mindset of, I don't care. And it's not like you don't care about them. It's that idea of like, I don't care. You walk out the door, you leave. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Yeah.
And you're just not, it's almost like when you're not, like, I know like a lot of girls like go after like guys who, you know, you could consider dirtbags, right? Or they go around with other women, right? Or like, you know, stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Why do girls like bad guys, right?
Yeah.
Well, in a way, it's almost like they want what they can't have because like this guy, like,
exactly right.
you know, and it's not in a good way. That's in a toxic way.
Yeah.
But there's a good way to do it. And that's just, it's like almost bad to say, but like, I don't need you. Yeah. But I want you.
Yep.
You know, but like, I know, like, okay, well, I'll be fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's almost this mentality of like if you like, I hate to say it because it's always hard to say those things, but like it really is like, I don't care. Yeah. You know, because I'm cool with me. I'm good.
That's so attractive.
Right.
So here's what I think. I go, if Jessie ever decides she wants to leave, I'll be like, oh, you're going to miss out.
And that's so hard to almost like, because everyone will be like, oh no, you got to like, you know, like, but no, the reality, like when my wife is her best self and I'm focused on my best self. Yeah. But we just do it together and we cheerlead each other on. We're happier.
Way happier.
You know, rather than me going all in, like I'm not like all in, but like I'm trying to fix her and she's trying to fix me. No. You fix you, I'll fix me, and we'll do it together. Yeah. Right? You grow, I'll grow. Let's grow together. But guess what? I'm doing this, you're doing that. I'm going to cheerlead it on. Whatever fucking money you need for that, you got it, right?
Yeah.
Because I want you to be that, you know?
Yeah.
And we're a lot happier when we do it that way.
Well, she's more attractive when she's independent.
Yes.
Because nobody wants to have somebody who's dependent and needy upon them.
Right.
Those are called kids. And they're great, but you understand it's a child.
Yeah.
And so you're absolutely right. And actually, Jesse and I set this up on purpose in our relationship. So once a week, she'll go hang out with her mom and brother, go dancing. She'll leave like on a Friday afternoon. I've got Jovi, and she'll come back either Saturday evening or Sunday evening. It doesn't happen every week because a lot of times we'll spend weekends together. But the more independent your woman is, that's when you fell in love with her too, by the way. You're like, I love how independent and sassy and strong she is. And then you get her in, and then guys try to mold her and be like, no, be mine and do what I want to do. And it's like, no, fucker. When she's independent, and also when she has her own life, she's not now looking at you like, feed my emotional needs every second. Like, no, go feed your own, bitch.
And I mean, you're talking reverse. Like when the woman's needy, it pushes the man away.
Absolutely.
Right? No,
yeah. So it's like, if you leave me, I know I'm showing up as a provocateur every day. If you decide you want to go find that, good luck, and I wish you the best. You're not going to find anybody better than me. You're not.
Yeah.
And it's not because I'm so egotistical. I'm just like, I show up in these areas.
Right.
I'm a great parent. I'm a great partner. I'm a kick-ass producer, and I'm a player.
Right.
I take my wife on dates, and I plan it, and I think about it, and I get ready, and I show up. I brush my teeth. I put on good. I try and look good, so that way every girl wants to be able to look across the room and go, that's my man.
That's my man, yeah.
And if she can't say that,
got some work to do.
Yeah, and so what guys go, Keith, you just teach about sex. I go, no. You're not hearing me. Sex is the apple on the tree. I'm teaching you how to be a healthy tree so you can have all the apples you want. It's good root equals good fruit. Good root equals good fruit.
Like become the bombs and you drop a bomb on that one.
Yeah. Become the most attractive version of you, and that's how you become non-needy. I would hate to see my wife walk away because I love her, dude.
Right.
But if she did, and that's what we get guys to the point of. I go, at the end of 90 days, I want you to be able to look at me in the eye and be like, I'm the most attractive version of me. I go, okay, cool. And if she doesn't like that, then we can make some decisions based on power, not disempowered. Guys who are like scrambling, who don't understand what I understand, and they haven't gone through my program, and they're grasping at straws. How do I get her back? What do I do? What do I do? It's like, that's all disempowerment. You're making, it's like you're like making decisions. It's like somebody coming on a YouTube video that you and I do, and they're like, these guys are idiots. And you look at their life and you're like, well, hey, dude, first of all, wipe off the Cheeto dust off your finger and put the gaming console down.
Oh, I had a Mr. Kittens on TikTok tell me that my hair looked like shit.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like, but that's what it sounds like. But that's what guys are doing. They're so disempowered. They're so neutered, and they're so unattractive, and that their wives are like, it's like, dude, there's guys, they just, and here's the biggest shocker for me that I love that I'm bringing this message to the world. Very few guys actually stop and go, how attractive am I to my wife? Like, so we have them take an assessment. Like, and we can give that assessment out to your people if they want to just take
awesome,
it. Yeah. So we'll give it out. We'll put
all the links right here on these videos.
Yeah, we'll put it in the link so that way they can, hey, go take the assessment and see, because if you're not getting the sex life you want, go take this assessment. And if you don't score very well, you know why. So people are like, Keith, you just teach guys. I don't teach sex positions. It's not about a position. It's about a condition of the heart. It's a condition of the mind. It's not about, dude, can you do doggy or can you do... Dude, none of that matters. But the bottom line is, dude, when are you going to actually say, I want to become the best version of me? Because until you do that, you're not going to be that. And she is going... I think, like, we've had the best sex of our life this last week. Like, bar none. And I want to be able to say in 5 years, we've had the best sex. There should be no reason why your sex isn't getting better. None. But yet our cultural norm and narrative is, oh, you know, dude, they're out of the honeymoon phase. Honeymoon phase, you barely even know each other, dude. You're like, what hole am I sticking it in? Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry, wrong one. You know what I mean? Maybe later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, I know my wife's moves. I know her moods. I know her little twinge of an eyebrow. I'm like, I know what she wants. Because I'm so connected with her. And our connection is so deep that it's like, good luck, dude, trying to take her away from me. Good fucking luck. Not going to happen.
Brother, thank you so much for coming on. It's been fun, man.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just always fun being around you. I know I said at the beginning, it really is fun being around you, bro. But first and foremost, I want to make sure everyone who's listening to this has a way to get in contact with you. Obviously, you're on Instagram, Keith Yackey. That's KeithYackey. Again, we'll link all of this in all of our videos, all the podcasts in the bios. Make sure they get in contact with you, brother. But also marriedgame.com. Any other place you want people to make sure they can get in touch with you?
If they go to marriedgame.com, what they'll notice is that they can opt in to see a video that shows, because the ultimate punchline is the reason why your wife's not initiating and the reason why she's laying there like a dead starfish when you're trying to hump her is she's lost attraction for you. And that's usually the biggest, hardest pill for guys to really swallow and go, I'm not that attractive anymore. But once they can get over the hurt of not being attractive and swallow the truth pill, then I walk them through in that video. Here's why she's not attracted anymore, and here's how you can fix it. But we'll also put the assessment, marriedgame.com/assessment, to where they can take this. So we'll put that in there. But if you guys go to marriedgame.com, you'll see the video. There's a ton of videos in there. And if you liked this stuff, there's a lot more where this came from.
Follow this guy right now. Even if you're not married, what this guy's talking about is more than just married. I know it talks about marriage, but it's attraction, it's integrity, it's so much more. You guys need to be following Keith Yackey. Brother, thanks for coming on.
I love you, man. Thank you.
Too.